All right. So this last weekend, I went to Flesh and Blood Nationals in Vegas. I flew in on Friday evening and made it into Vegas pretty late. And I went up to my hotel room, which I get to stay in with a couple of teammates because we're sponsored by Kayfabe Cards. Shout out Kayfabe Cards. Anyway, so the actual tournament itself, Nationals, is half constructed, half draft. It's 8 rounds of classic constructed, which I feel very confident in because I get to play a wizard, which is just all spells, and I love that. And then 6 rounds of draft, which I don't feel comfortable in because I don't like to play limited at all. So, quick rundown. I'm very good at constructed. I'm very bad at draft. And you have to be kind of good at both. Anyway, so that's how this is working. Show up in Vegas. I'm at the suite. We're at the Paris, which is a really cool place. I like to walk around the little casino downstairs because if you look at the ceiling, it's got like all sorts of cool, I don't even know what you would call it on the ceiling, but cool. It makes it look like it's like Paris sky, and they have like French looking buildings and stuff. And then obviously a bunch of places to gamble. And so I connected with everybody, and then we're like, oh, let's go play some games, right? Let's go play some cards. So we go downstairs to the casino. And I'm like, I'm going to play blackjack because other people are playing slots. I hate slots. I can't do it. You literally could not pay me to play slots. But I like blackjack because I like card games. Usually I want to play poker. I don't have like 5 hours to sit down and play poker though. So blackjack it is. I get like $200. I sit down, and the cheapest table they had is $25 bet minimum. And I'm like, oh, that's brutal. That's so rough. That's a lot of money. But I don't really care if I lose the money. I have like $500 to gamble with for the weekend. I just want to like hang out with my friends, and I want to get a couple free drinks. And that's it. If I go up, if I go down, I don't really care. It is what it is. So sit down at the blackjack table, buying for my $200. I put down $25 on the bet, and I lose. I lose the first hand. Whatever. That's fine because the cocktail waitress is coming around. All right. So she's coming around, and I'm like, oh, can I get let me get a Moscow Mule. And they're like, we don't have ginger beer. Is ginger ale okay? And I'm like, absolutely not. That's not a Moscow Mule. I'll have a vodka Red Bull because I don't like my heart to work properly. And so she's like, all right, yeah, coming right up. So I go, okay, that'll be like 5 minutes maybe. So I'll have a nice beverage. It'll be really good. We'll be chilling with the boys. All good. Second hand, boom, lose. Third hand, boom, lose. All right, we're down $75. We have $125 left. Put down my $25. I'm dealt 20. Let's go. King Jack. Bang, bang. Dealer showing a 6, right? 6. Flip it up. King, 16. The literal best number for a dealer to ever have for you because they have to hit, and it's so likely that they bust. 16. 3. 19. Sorry. 16. 4. 20. We push. What that means, if you tie the dealer, is you just get your money back and you go again. So I get my money back, I push. So we're like 3 losses and 1 push in. And this time I get dealt a 15. And the dealer is showing like a 10. So I go, oh my God, I have to hit. You have to hit in this point. So I hit, and I'm like, come on. I need a win. Bam, 6, 21. Woo! We got the good stuff. Sitting on 21 to our dealer's 10. This is perfect because if they flip a 10, they have 20 and we win, whatever. I needed a dub really bad, so we're chilling. And then the dealer flips a 4 and then a 7. 21. We push again. So it's loss. Push on 20, push on 21, right? And so next one. Get dealt like a 6 and then a 5. This is perfect. We have 11. This is exactly what you want to see. Dealer flips up like a 7 or something. You double that every single time, right? I get my money in good. So I got $50 in there, and the dealer's got like a 7, and they flip up like another 7 or like an 8, right? 7, 8. So they have like 15. My card's face down. My double down card. 15. 6. Dealer hits 21. They flip my face down card. 2. I lose. Whatever. Next hand. Next hand. Get some crap. Lose. Get some crap. Lose. So I have like $25 left. I put it in. Again, it's like 7, 4, 11. I don't even double down. I just hit, bro. The dealer's showing like a 6, and I straight up just don't even believe. I'm like, there's no way I'm winning this hand. So the funniest part is everybody else at the table, there's like 2 other guys at the table and 1 girl, and they're celebrating hardcore because they're up so much at this point. So everybody else at the table but me is winning, right? And the hands that they've won, the hands that they've lost, they bet like nothing. When the dealer hit 21, they hit blackjack. So they didn't push because they got paid out first before the dealer flipped 21. And so they're all like celebrating and high-fiving and throwing chips around. And I'm like just miserable with my 1 chip in the corner. And so there you go, like, yeah, man, I can't believe we're all up so high. And the guy looks at me and he goes to like, you know, like dap me up. He's like, yeah, man, we're all winning. You know, like that's what he thinks is going to happen. I'm going to be like, yeah. But what really happens is he goes to dap me up and I look at him and the dealer looks at him and like, and like does this to my 1 chip. And she's like, well, he's not winning. So I don't dap the guy up. He withdraws in embarrassment. And then we continue the hand where the dealer has a 6, I have an 11, and I don't even double down. I hit face up. I'm like, give it to me face up. I want to know. And it's a 10. 21 again. Let's go. Except the dealer goes 5, king, 21. We push on 21 again. So the record so far is like loss, 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 push on 20, push on 21, double down on 11-6, lose, push on 21. That's our record so far. Whatever. I can see the cocktail waitress coming from the other side of the room. I put my last chip in there and get it in horrendous. We just immediately lose the last hand. I'm down $200 in 9 minutes, maybe. Probably not even that long. I have to walk to the cocktail waitress to get my drink because I'm technically not playing anymore. So I can't just sit there and wait for her to get there and not play the game and then be like, oh, wow, thank you. So I walk to her, get my drink, hand her $1, not a chip, which is how you know things are going bad for a tip. Take my beverage, go watch my friend play slots, and just kind of sip on my little Red Bull vodka, which, by the way, was not very good. So that was the start to my weekend. We're absolutely just horrendously down immediately. We didn't even get to have a good time while it happened, but I don't know. At least I got a good story out of that part. And so I watched my friends play for a while, and then we go up to the room, and I'm upset because I wanted to have like a few drinks. I wanted to have a few drinks. I wanted to unwind with my friends, and I couldn't do that because I lost way too fast. So we go up to the suite, which is like a room, like a living room space, and then like another room, right? And I walk in, and we're talking, and they have this really weird thing that I've never seen, where it's like this box, and it's got all sorts of stuff. So it's the mini bar. But instead of being a normal minibar stuff, it's got like a lot of stuff there. It's got like a bunch of bottles of water. It's got like a Red Bull, a sugar-free Red Bull, a Pepsi, a sugar-free Pepsi, some M&Ms, Reese's Pieces, bunch of different snacks, some orange juice, and like a bottle of Grey Goose. And they're like, hey, this is the minibar. If you take stuff, you have to pay for it. Jojo Karate, thank you for the 2 months and the Prime. But like, I was raised... I don't know if any of you guys were like this, but like growing up, the minibar, touching the minibar was like a cardinal sin, right? It was somewhere in between murdering somebody, and touching the thermostat. Somewhere in between those two, right? It was like, you do not ever take anything from the minibar, right? So I, in my 27 years of living, have been to a lot of hotels and have never once touched the minibar. And I'm kind of bummed out because I didn't get to have my drinks or anything. And then I'm sitting there and I'm talking, and Job, the guy who owns Kayfabe Cards and who got us the suite, has to leave. So he's going to go down, he's going to gamble, and then he's going to go to the airport. And he says, hey, anything you want to the room is comped. Because he gambles, and so he gets the rooms comped. If you're familiar with Vegas, you know how this works. And I go, well, like what? And he's like, well, anything. Anything you want to the room is comped. Just like, it doesn't cover tips. Or if you get like super out of order, they'll charge you, and then I'll tell you how much you owe me. And I was like, okay. So I look around and I point at the minibar box and I go, what about the minibar? And he looks at me like I'm kind of slow, and he's like, yeah, even the minibar. And so I walk over. And this is how like deeply ingrained don't touch the minibar is in me, is that I walk over, and instead of like picking up the bag of peanut M&Ms and going like, what about this? I literally don't even touch it. I hover my finger over the bag of peanut M&Ms and I go, so if I eat this bag of peanut M&Ms, you don't have to pay for it. And he's like, yeah. And so I grab the peanut M&Ms and I go, if I take this bottle of Grey Goose, you don't have to pay for it? And he's like, yeah. And I go, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. So I crack open my peanut M&Ms, I take the Grey Goose, I take the bottle of orange juice, and I make myself a nice delicious beverage in the hotel suite, and I feel like I'm getting away with murder. I feel like I'm literally stealing something. And I really that felt very nice. So we go to sleep, wake up at like 6:30 a.m. Absolutely not enough time to really get ready. It's me, Andy, and Peter, who's Mass Momentum in chat. He comes in every now and then. And Peter is playing Kano in Nationals. And I am playing Iyslander, and Andy is playing Fi. So Peter and I, Wizard Gang. I'm playing Iyslander, which I have a lot of experience with and have been doing really well in tournaments. And I'm pretty excited to get to play it again. Show up, go sit down at our thing. We have to wait a little while. No big deal. There's this really weird thing where like I'm seeing a bunch of players. You get to know people in like the competitive scene. It's the same thing with like Runeterra, right? You see the same names kind of pop up over and over again. Drizoth, Floppy Mudkip, Tankbuster, right? Roji, all those kind of things. So it's the same thing in Flesh and Blood, except you meet them in person. So I'm looking around and I'm seeing this team, the Wolfpack, that is like filled with some of the best players in the world. A lot of them. You got like Michael Hamilton, Michael Fang, like a lot of the top players. And they're all wearing the shirt that says, not Dave. Like, that's weird. It's just a black shirt that says, not Dave. And I don't know what to make of that at all. I'm like, that's so odd. How do you get like 15 people to wear this shirt that says not Dave? I don't know who Dave is, but apparently they're not. They aren't. So whatever. Sit down and I get to start playing. The day goes 4 rounds of Classic Constructed, 3 rounds of Draft. So I have 4 rounds of playing what I'm good at and 3 rounds of just trying to tread water, right? And so I play my 4 rounds of Classic Constructed, and it all goes very well. Everything goes good. I have a feature match round 3 where I play against the Levia, and it goes very well for me. And I end up sticking the 4-0 start. Now, before the event happened, I tweeted out, ready for Flesh and Blood Nationals, about to go 4-0 in Constructed, and then 0-3 Draft. So the first part of the prophecy has been fulfilled, where you can watch the match, Star City Games YouTube channel. Round 3, U.S. Nationals. So first part of the prophecy has been fulfilled. I'm 4-0 in Constructed. Now it's time to 0-3 Draft. So it takes a while for them to get set up in Draft. And drafting, if you're not familiar, happens in pods of 8. It's very similar to Magic the Gathering draft. Basically exactly the same thing. Pod of 8, you get your 3 packs, you open up your pack, you take 1 card, you pass the rest of the pack, it goes around and around and around until you all have 45 cards, blah, blah, blah. You make a deck, you play 3 rounds. Easy peasy. I'm not comfortable in draft. I don't like it. And I don't really like drafting the set that we're drafting, which is Monarch. So I'm hoping for some people who are like not very good at draft as well. I'm hoping I get put in a pod of like not super good players, but the problem is that I'm 4-0. So I'm going to get matched up in a pod with other people who are 4-0. And so I sit down, and to my right is Michael Hamilton, current world champion. Probably undisputed best player in the world. Probably. Yeah. And if he's not the best player in the world, on anyone's opinion, he's certainly number 2. So I'm like, that's dope. That's great. And he's passing to me. That's how it works. He's on my right. So he determines basically what cards I get to see. So I'm kind of scared. And I was told how Monarch Draft works is that I should stay open. I should try to not force something. I should take the best card in the pack for the first 4 to 5 picks and then find a signal, take it, and just hard commit to that thing. So what I'm doing is I really just don't want to play Chain. Chain is like super hit or miss, and if you end up the 3rd Chain in the pod, you have a really bad time. I'm down to play Prism, Bolton, or Levia. Any of those 3. So I start off, and I'm taking like a couple Shadow cards. I'm playing like some Levia, so you play every draft format ever. Not correct, because in Uprising draft, if you committed pick 5, you were too late and you wouldn't have enough playables. It was really bad. Anyway, so I take some Shadow cards, and then like pick 5, Michael Hamilton passes me Red Herald of Triumph, which is an incredible Prism card. An incredible Prism card. Now, this is kind of weird, though, because like Prism is very, very highly contested in Monarch draft. So I'm like, huh. That's clearly a signal. There's nobody in like the 2 seats next to me here playing Prism, or there's no way that would have gotten through pick 3 and pick 4. Someone would have taken Red Herald of Triumph. So I take Red Herald of Triumph, and I just immediately full send it into Prism. And the rest of the pack goes pretty good. We get a couple more Heralds, a couple more good cards, blah, 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 blah. And then it's time for, I'm feeling pretty decent. I'm like, okay, we kind of found our lane. Let's go. Like I have a chance this draft. I really just don't want to 0-3. And then it's pack 2. And also thank you Bouncy Man for the 30 months in the Prime. It's pack 2, which means the flow reverses. Instead of it going from you passing to your left, you now pass to your right. So the person to my left is passing to me, and I'm passing to Michael Hamilton. And I open my pack, and it sucks. And I take a pooper, and I pass the rest of it. And then I look at the next pack, and it sucks. And I take a pooper, and I pass the rest of it. Because, you know, it just happens sometimes. Sometimes the playable cards sometimes the cards aren't super strong for what you're trying to do, whatever. And then it's pick 3, and I go, all right, show me the Prism cards, baby. And I open it up, and I look at the pack, all 13 cards, and there are no Prism cards. Uh-oh. Now, this is worse. Way worse than you looking at your pack and it's a bad pack. Because there are Prism cards in that pack. They're just really bad. I just don't want to play them. But if there's no Prism cards, what that means is that those people are playing Prism. The people passing to you are playing Prism because they're taking the Prism cards, right? And so there are no Prism cards. And so I just take a generic and I pass it. And I was like, maybe it was a fluke. And I look at the next pack and there are no Prism cards. So we go from like feeling really good in pack 1. We're kind of going like this. And then we open pack 2, and a couple packs in, a couple picks in, we're like, woo! We just crash back down. We're like, oh no, not like this. I'm going to 0-3 this draft. And you need to X3 to make top 8, right? So you have to like, if you go X3, if you go 4-3, if I lose all 3 rounds of draft, I can't lose a single round in these 7 rounds tomorrow, which I could possibly do if it was all constructed. But there's 3 more draft rounds on the next day. So I'm like, there's no way. If I 0-3 this draft, I'm screwed. And it's just pick after pick. Oh God. There's no Prism cards. They're all gone. I'm taking whatever I can get that like goes into the deck. And I'm just passing the rest. And I'm panicking. we're at the end of the pack. I look at my deck and I'm like, this pack 3 needs to be miraculous. It needs to be miraculous for me. So we open the pack. It goes back to the left, by the way. The flow reverses once again. I open my pack, and I have Foral. I have sorry, not Foral. I have Herald of Erudition in my pack, and I slam that shit. Herald of Erudition, best Herald, like top 3 Prism card, not close, incredible. Slam it. Is that good? Yeah, top 3 Prism card. Next pick, open it up, Prism card, really good one. Slam it. Slam another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. We are just hit. We are just getting all this good stuff. So like everything in pack 2 is terrible because all the prisms are cleared to my left. But that means that they're not to my right, which means they're all passing the prism cards in pack 3. So pack 3, we're trying as best as we can to just make up for our horrendously bad pack 2. Slamming cards. And then by the end of the pack, I look at my deck and I have a solid prism deck. And I'm like, thank God. I don't even like feel happy about it. I just feel relieved that I don't have like a dumpster fire. I'm like, this is a 7 out of 10 and I'm stoked. It might even be like a 6 and a 5 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. And I'm like, thank God. Thank God. So we start playing. And things go well. I actually start off the draft 2-0. So we're 6-0. And I'm elated. Because all I wanted to do, if I could have paid money to get 2 wins in draft, I would have. Because like I'm not going to 3-0, I don't think. I'll probably 1-2. And I really just don't want to 0-3. So we start off 2-0. Now here's the problem. The final boss is Michael motherfucking Hamilton. And I'm watching this guy play basically like the semifinals of the pod, right? I'm watching him and he's playing Levia and he's the only Levia in the entire pod. So he gets every Levia card that he wants. His deck is insane. And I'm watching him just absolutely dismantle his opponent. And I'm like, oh no. Because if he wins, we have to play each other. And not only is Levia like kind of tough for Prism, the way you have to play the matchup is you have to like try to get these auras out and not attack with your heralds. And then you push damage with your auras. And that's how you win. However, my Prism deck can't make auras outside of getting in there with heralds. But because Michael Hamilton is such a highly concentrated, like good stuff Levia deck, I won't ever be able to get in with heralds. If you play Flesh and Blood, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't worry about it. Just understand that I'm not able to do the normal win con against Levia with Prism. And so he just cleans it up, wins. We're both 2-0. And I'm thinking to myself, God, I just hope I'm not in the feature match area again. Just please don't put our game on camera, man. Please don't put our game on camera. And we sit down and we're not in the feature match area. And we start shuffling up and we present decks and we cut and we're just about to do the opening hand. And on the loudspeaker, they go, attention, table number 2. We're going to have to ask you to move to the feature match area. This is Michael Hamilton versus MajiinBae to the feature match area, please. And I'm like, oh, no. So we go to the feature match area and I have an opening hand that's like, whatever, but I have like this, I have one way to win, and it's by like pitch stacking a certain couple of cards and having a very, very, very explosive hand that he can't stop. And so I pitch it and I look to get there at the end of the game and I just fucking rolled, dude. I just get absolutely dumpstered, man. I think he wins the game at 15 and you start at 20. Like, it was brutal, bro. Brutal. And then afterwards, I was like, that's a really good Levia deck. And he's like, yeah, I think it might be the best Monarch draft deck I've ever seen. So that's what I had to contend with, was the current world champion on the singular best Monarch draft deck he's ever seen. I had no shot, bro. No shot. And so we're like, you know, I go and I tell my bad beat story to everybody, and they're all like commiserating. They're like, oh, bro, that sucks, you know, whatever. But you got 6 6-1. That's so good. Like, we're so stoked that I was able to go 6-1. Because then I just need to go 5-2 on the following day. And there's absolutely like a chance that I can do that, right? 5-2, not the most difficult thing. I'm pretty excited. And so we like go out to dinner, and one of my buddies, I'm gonna switch the thing. One of my buddies orders a drink, but it's a virgin drink because he can't have alcohol. Andy cannot have alcohol. It messes him up. Emter, thank you for the prime. And so what happens is they bring him the drink, and he like sniffs it, and he goes, "Hey, waiter, I think this has alcohol in it." And they're like, "Let me check with the bartender." So it does have alcohol. It's like a $20 cocktail, mocktail, sorry. So it's probably a little bit cheaper. My cocktail is like $20. And so the bartender goes to grab it, and he starts walking away because he's going to go dump it. I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Bartender, man. If you're just going to toss it, I'll drink that because it's like a $20 cocktail, and I don't want to spend $20. And so he's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, and he just sets it down. And then I'm drinking my cocktail for a while because I'm going to go 1, then 2. And one of them asked me, "Hey, Mr. Majin, have you tried the other cocktail yet?" And I go, "No, I haven't." So I reach over to try the second cocktail with the first one still in my hand. So I'm kind of like this. And then Peter takes a picture right at that moment. And the picture looks like this. And I look like a degenerate. I look sloshed, bro. like an alcohol gremlin over here, right? And his caption for the tweet is, "After his loss to Hamilton, we fucking it up." So what in reality, I've had a quarter of this mixed drink, and it's my first sip of this mixed drink and no other alcohol, right? And Peter posts this and makes it look like I got crushed by Hamilton and immediately got fucked up. I couldn't handle being destroyed by Hamilton on camera, so I go and drown my sorrows in booze. And it was super funny, and 106 people liked it. So that was the end of the first day, right? Oh man. Okay, so day 2 is unfortunately draft first, and I am not excited, right? So I go to my draft pod, and I'm hoping it gets a bit easier this time. Like, please no Michael Hamilton. Please let me have a good deck. Please let me 2-1. If we 2-1 draft pod, I feel really good. If we 2-1 draft pod, I think my odds of getting into top 8 are actually like very solid. And I sit down, or I'm walking to my pod, and I look at it, and who else do I see but motherfucking Michael Hamilton? Michael Hamilton's in my pod again. And I sit down and I go, "Hey, man." And then I look across from him, the current world champion over here. And it's Michael Fang, current Pro Tour champion, Michael Fang. Michael Hamilton, Michael Fang, I'm doomed. So we start drafting. And I open like a really good shadow card. It's like a Levi card, and I take it. And then Michael Hamilton, yeah. So shadow card, I see another good shadow card and another good shadow card. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, this is great. And so I want to play Levi because I don't want to play Chain. And then in like pick 5, I see red belittle, which means that there is nobody playing Chain to my right. And I'm like, oh, not like this. So I have to play Chain. Start drafting Chain, and it starts to dry up near the end, and it dries up in pack 2. So I think someone on my left is also playing Chain. Evan's playing Chain. And the draft goes okay. I think my Chain deck is better than my Prism deck, I will say. And now, if you're not familiar with how Chain works, basically Chain uses up his own like library as resources. Library meaning deck. You get to do this thing where like Once per turn, you get to make a Soul Shackle, and when you do that, the next thing you do gains Go again. So you get to like make multiple actions per turn at the cost of, for every Soul Shackle you have at the beginning of your turn, you banish a card from the top of your deck. So by turn 3, if you've activated a Soul Shackle every single turn, you banish 3 cards a turn, right? And it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. However, you only play a 30-card deck, so you can tear through your deck very, very fast. But Chain gets these cards that have Blood Debt, and they do damage to you if they're in your banish zone at the end of your turn. For every Blood Debt card, it does 1 damage to you if it's in your banish zone at the end of the turn. So not only are you running out of resources, but it can start dealing damage to you. However, these Blood Debt cards say you may play them from your banish zone. Sometimes if you have to fulfill a condition, you have to like cast a non-attack spell or whatever first. And so you get to have like these hyper powerful turns if you banish your Blood Debt stuff. And you have to have these hyper powerful turns because otherwise you're going to get what's called fatigue. They're going to run you out of cards because they're just going to block and let you banish your deck until you don't have anything left, right? And then they're going to kill you. But I have a really good mixture of like Blood Debt, non-Blood Debt, very hyper powerful cards. The most important things in my deck are Belittle, which searches up Minnowism, which is very good. I only have 1 Minnowism, unfortunately. And then I have 4 of these cards called Warmonger's Recital, which is very, 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 very good in Chain. It's going to like end up putting stuff on the bottom of my deck again. It's a pump. It's very strong. And so I sit down across from my first opponent, and I do a little bit of blocking on turn 1. Sorry, it's my turn. I make a Soul Shackle. I do some things. I squeak in a little bit of damage. And then I Arsenal Belittle. Because next turn we want to search up Minnowism, and we're going to have an insane turn. I draw my hand. Oh my god, I'm going to get this Minnowism, and it's going to be a nuts hand. I'm going to push like 15 damage. Like insane. And so our opponent attacks. We're like, yup, I'll take it. I don't care. And we go to banish, and we banish the 1 of Minnowism in the deck. And anybody who has ever played Chain understands this feeling. We banish our 1 of Minnowism. So I don't get to do it. So my 15 damage turn turns into like 8. I lose like 8 points of, or like 7 points of damage. But I Arsenal something, and we go, and I draw my hand, and I go, okay, this is all right. I'm going to block a little bit, because if we hit like a Blood Debt thing, it'll be really good. If not, it's not great. So let's just like block, and we'll move on to our turn. And then on my turn, I banish red Warmonger's Recital, yellow Warmonger's Recital. And I'm like, that sucks. So we play our turn, whatever. 3 Soul Shackles. Drop my hand, and I go, oh my god. If I hit a unit off this Blood Debt, we go crazy. We go crazy, and we just don't. I just banish Warmonger's Recital, other non-Blood Debt card, and just lose the game. I'm like, wow, all right, this was fun. So we're 0-1. Round 2, I play against the Levia, and I get really close, and I pitch stack like the super crazy turn. Pitch stack means that you put the cards on bottom so that they come back, and you basically craft a hand for the late game. And I craft this like super insane turn, but the turn before we get to the pitch stack, I'm not able to empty the cards out of my hand. Because my opponent doesn't attack, I can't block, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I'm stuck with 2 cards in my hand instead of getting rid of them, which means that instead of drawing 4 cards and making my pitch stack exactly what I want, I only draw 2 cards and my pitch stack is off by 2. So what that means is that on a following turn, when I'm going to banish my 2 Rift Binds, which are like my super late game combo card, and I'm going to like do a bunch of stuff and get really nasty with, I draw them instead and lose the game because I couldn't banish them. So we're 0-2. 0-2. We play the third one and we squeak it out. 1-2, not what we wanted. So we're currently 4-0 in constructed, 3-3 in draft. Yeah, so we're X3. We have to win out. We have to win all 4 of our constructed games in order to top 8. But now we're up against like pretty strong opponents, right? And so maybe that's why draft is included for this format. So a lot of paper card games for like Pro Tours and stuff like to have dual formats. So you could have like limited specialists and constructed specialists. You have to show that you're good at both. I hate it. I just want to play constructed, but whatever. Some people really like it. So I sit down, we start playing, and I get there 1-0. And I sit down. In the next round, and I look across my opponent. He's wearing a black shirt, and it says, "I'm Dave." Remember everybody? Michael Hamilton, Michael Fang, all those people wearing the shirt that says "Not Dave"? Well, I found him. I sit down, and it's the man himself, Dave. And we play. He's playing Dash, which is not a very good matchup for Iyslander, and it's a really close game. He has a very, very, very strong start, and I'm trying to like claw back in. And we get to the end, and he's able to resolve like 3 items, like double pounder, and like go through all 3 counters on him. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter. Understand that he's kind of blasting me. And I get really close to winning, and I just can't quite pull it off. I'm just a smidgen short. My disruption isn't quite hitting the way we need it to. His hands are working out really well. My hands are working out not quite as well as I need them to. He played very well. Very well. Dave's very strong. And we don't get there. We take a loss. We're out of contention for top 8, and that sucks. So we're X-4. We're 8-4. Feels so bad, man. But I lost 3 in draft, so I can only really be mad at myself because I didn't put in the prep time. But top 32 is still worth $750, and top 64 is still worth $250. If I win out, I'm almost locked for top 32. So we keep playing, and I beat my next opponent, and then I play against a Briar, which is a very, very good matchup. A very good matchup for Iyslander. So I'm feeling really good about it. And all you flesh and blood, yeah, this is humidifier. Don't worry about the little steam thing. My dresser's not on fire. So I sit down, and my opponent goes first, and they just go Channel Mount Heroic on turn 0, Arsenal pass, and I'm like, that's not good. Now, if you know Flesh and Blood, you know Briar starting with Channel Mount Heroic is like horribly bad for you. So I pass it back. I do my thing. It's my opponent's turn. And he just starts blasting me, bro. It's like 20-something damage. And I stop as much as I can. I send back a little bit of an attack. And then he goes again. He attacks me a bunch with Channel Mount Heroic again. I take some damage. And I set up Insidious Chill, which is like a very important setup card for Iyslander. If you can get Insidious Chill down and you can take advantage of it, you're in a very, very, very good spot. You'll usually win every game that you tick 3 times on Insidious Chill. And then my Briar opponent loses their Channel Mount Heroic, plays another Channel Mount Heroic, does some stuff. I have to block. My hand doesn't work well, so I have to block. Pass. And I draw up. It's my opponent's turn. With Channel Mount Heroic, second Channel Mount Heroic in play. And he goes, Lightning Surge from Arsenal for 7. Now you start at 40, right? I start at 36 because my hero sucks. Lightning Surge from Arsenal, 7 damage. Take it. Snatch for 7. With 2 cards in hand. I block 3. My opponent Snapdragon Scalers to give the Snatch go again. And I sink below to stuff the damage, not allowing my opponent to draw an extra card. But it's still their turn. So I have 2 cards left in hand to my opponent's 2 cards. They're about to lose. They're about to lose their Channel Mount Heroic. And we'll have Insidious Chill on 3. We've taken a shitload of damage. But I'll probably be okay. Because I have this Insidious Chill. And then my opponent goes Runic Reclamation for 10. Now, Runic Reclamation is a 3-mana card that attacks for 7. And it says, if it hits, you get to destroy one of your opponent's auras. Insidious Chill is an aura. And since attacking for 10, I only have 2 cards in hand. I can only block like 5. So I take a bunch of damage, lose my Insidious Chill, and don't even get to do anything on my turn. The score is like 6-2 29. I'm so far behind. So far behind. 6 to 29. No Insidious Chill. No tempo. My opponent's turn. Takes his turn. I block as much as I can. I go to 5. And then I Arsenal Channel Lake Frigid. He starts to take his turn. He goes, Embodiment of Earth trigger. And I'm like, Channel Lake Frigid. Stop right there. Slow him down. Do a couple turns. Channel Lake Frigid. Slow him down. So it's like Channel My Heroic, Channel My Heroic. Turn 1, turn 0, Channel My Heroic. Turn 2, Channel My Heroic. Turn 4, Channel Lake Frigid. Turn 6, Channel Lake Frigid. So we're just channeling. Everybody's just channeling here. And I end up taking it all the way back. It's like 6 to 29. And I run it all the way back. And I win the game at like 4. Barely take any damage. I take like 2 damage over the course of the next like 7 turns. And I win the game. And so we end up 10-4. 10-4 total in the Flesh and Blood Nationals tournament. Which is pretty good. It's very good. It should be enough for top 32. And so we're waiting. And the standings get posted. And I start looking at the X and 4s, which starts at like, I don't know, 15th or something. And I'm looking down and down and down and down and down and down and down. And my name is not on that list. And I keep looking and I keep looking and I keep looking and I keep looking and it's not there. So I look to the other page. 26th, not there. 7th, not there. 8th, not there. 9th, not there. 30th, not there. 31, not there. 32, not there. I'm 35th. So I lost out on $500 because of my tiebreakers, which felt so bad. So bad. I ended Classic Constructed 7-1, Draft 3-3. So it's really my fault because I didn't practice a bunch of Draft because I don't like it. I'm probably going to change that for Worlds. I'm actually going to practice it. But it still felt very unfortunate. It kind of sucked. So, yeah, that was how the actual Nationals tournament went. Now, here's the thing. You're playing in U.S. Nationals. You have to qualify for Nationals. So I went 10-4 against, like, good players. I played against World Champion, right? I can't really be mad at that, but I'm gonna. You know what I mean? Like, you take 35th in Nationals, and you're like, a Nationals tournament with, like, 600 people, and you're like, that's pretty good. But it's not the result I wanted, and so I was like kind of sad about it. Gonna skip through some things so this doesn't end up being like 2 hours long. But basically, the following day, I end up playing the Battle Hardened. We play some like poker the night before, have a really good time, make a little bit of money, which I immediately lose in blackjack again. Play the Battle Hardened, which is Blitz. I'm playing Kano. And round 1, I sit across from Azuri, which is a very good Kano matchup. Kano's all spells. He's like a much more combo-oriented deck. And I am basically doing the combo. If you know Flesh and Blood, you know what I mean. I'm doing the combo, and I pop my Ragamuffin's hat, and if there's a blue or yellow card on top, I win, and if it's a red card, I don't kill my opponent immediately. But that's okay, because he's going to go to 1. And it's a red card. Well, that sucks. Lost my, hit the 25%er, and don't immediately win the game. Whatever. It is what it is. My opponent goes down to 1. Now, here's the thing. The next turn, I'm going to try to kill my opponent. My opponent's deck plays probably 12 blues. Maybe a little bit more. But basically, like, 30% of their deck is blues. And they have 2 copies of Oasis Respite in their deck. So, their next hand, in order to stay alive, needs to, 1, threaten to kill me. Their arsenal card has to threaten to kill me, but they have to draw off the top 3 blues and 1 Oasis Respite, or they die. To be fair, it could also be 2 blues and 2 Oasis Respites, but that's really unlikely. So 3 blues, 1 Oasis Respite, or they die. I start throwing cards. They pitch a second blue, and they cast Oasis Respite. And I'm like, oh, okay. Double blue Oasis Respite? That sucks. But they're still super dead unless their last card is a 3rd blue. And what are the odds of that? I throw the spell, and wouldn't you know it, it's the 3rd goddamn blue. Round 1, get absolutely scammed. missing the blue or the yellow off Ragamuffins into the triple blue Oasis. I feel like I get absolutely scammed. 0-1 starting the battle hardened. I battle that shit back. 5-1. Battling it back. It's 9 rounds because Blitz is very short. So we're going to the next round. I play Chain. And my Chain opponent presents Arcane Barrier 0, Spell Void 8. Which basically means that like they have no it basically just means they have 28 life instead of 20. But they can't block me. So they basically, 28 life, no block. No matter what. For the entire game. That's basically what it means. And that's very, very, very good for me. As long as I can deal damage to my opponent, I should be able to kill them. And I just can't. Everything I banish off Kano is like 0 damage or 1 damage. I Sonic Boom and flip an energy potion, which I can't even cast off it. Like everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong, and I end up losing the game. But Skydoll Noah, thank you for the prime. End up losing the game, 5-2, playing against another Chain. Win this one. I'm gonna be real. I scammed this guy. I absolutely like just high rolled him out of his boots. So that felt nice. And then the next round I play against another Chain and I just can't quite get there. Just doesn't work. My Chain opponent just does the thing, does the Chain things. I don't do the Kano things, and I end up dying at 6-3. So I don't make it to top 8 of the battle hardened. I do cash again. So here's the thing. I played 2 highly competitive events over the weekend. I cashed in both of them, but I didn't get the results that I wanted. 10-4, 6-3. Very respectable results, just not what I wanted. So I had a really good time, and I felt really good, but I was also not happy because it wasn't the finish I wanted. So it was like really, really an odd feeling, you know? Like a bunch of people that I knew, a bunch of friends did that, where they like cashed, but didn't get top 8, blah, blah. So yeah, unfortunately, that's what it was like. I go and play blackjack again, and I lose again. And the funniest part to me was that over the entire time I was at this suite, and I was so excited about constantly raiding the minibar for these bottles of Grey Goose, is that bottle of Grey Goose that I had opened on the first night and had 1 mixed drink out of was the only bit of it that I took at all. I didn't end up drinking any more of that the entire weekend. It was just on the table with like 2 shots out of it. And that's all I drank. I never touched it again. And I thought that was really funny because I was really, really excited about it. And yeah, that was my Vegas trip. Not the best, not the worst, but I did have a really good time. I have Worlds in Barcelona later this year. And in a few weeks, I have a Team Blitz tournament where it's 3v3 in Portland, and I'm really excited about that. There's definitely going to be a story time about that one. And yeah, I probably forgot some stuff, but that was my Vegas trip. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Story Time, and I'll see you guys next time.